coach club policies. Coaches are required to arrive to practice 15 minutes prior to their start time. Coaches must notify a director of any conflicts for practices or tournaments at least 2 weeks in advance. Coaches must also contact a floater coach at least 2 weeks in advance to sub-coach for them in their absence. There must always be 2 coaches present at every practice. We're high on quality at Texas Fury. One thing we guarantee our players is that they will have 2 coaches at all times. So you have, I think, 5 floater coaches that you can contact, and of course, the sooner you contact them, the more likely they're going to be able to cover for you. If you can't get, it happens, any 5 of them, then you're just going to contact somebody else in the club who's not practicing that night or who doesn't have a tournament and see if you can get somebody to cover for you. You need to Hillary is in charge of hotels, and you've got to let Hillary know if you're not going to be at a tournament and who is subbing for you for hotel purposes, because she's going to have you on the hotel list and it messes everything up. So make sure you communicate with Hillary. Any questions on that, floater coaching? Okay. Coaches are required to attend all practices. Did I already read that? Yep. In the event that a floater coach is unavailable, get a Fury coach. For all absences, coaches will have their contracted practice or tournament rate deducted from their monthly check. Head coaches are still responsible for having the assistant or floater coach plan practice. So head coaches, if you miss, make sure that either your assistant is comfortable with planning, that your floater is comfortable with planning, or you plan the practice and give it to your assistant or the floater. Okay? Just when we're done with this, you're going to look at your season contract, and it's going to have your season salary, if you attend all practices and tournaments, what you would make at the end of the season, and then it's going to have your practice rate, what you make per practice, and then what you make per day at a tournament. Okay, so you're going to be telling us what we're going to have this time log that you're going to fill out through Google Docs. I hope y'all know how to work Google Docs. If you don't, I'll tell you, because we use them all the time. You're going to, at the end of the month, you're going to put, I had 5 practices and I went to 5 tournament days. And that's what your paycheck is that you're going to get on the first.
So we're doing it to the affirmative, not to the negative?
Yeah, because normally we just split it up evenly by month, right?
And tell you what we didn't go to.
Right. So
you want us to tell you what we did go to every month?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. You're actually going to tell us what you did and what you missed. And you have a tangible sheet. If you don't like doing it online, you have a tangible sheet in your binder where you can just put, bam, 2 practices this week, and just mark it at the end of the week. Okay. We have decided to do it this way because we have gotten burned for splitting it up monthly and evenly. Somebody quit, and they had already pretty much been, all your big tournaments are at the end of the season, right? So that's when your big paychecks come in. It's towards the end of the season. That's when you got to really gut it out and say, I'm sticking this out, whether we're winning or losing, or I like my kids, or my parents like me or not, okay? So if you want that big paycheck, you need to stay through April, because we've had people, a person quit and ran off with $1,200 of ours, and we never got it back. So anyway, you're going to get paid for the amount that you work now, okay? Let's see here. And we do direct deposit. If you haven't set up direct deposit with me, just talk to me before you leave tonight, and we'll get that set up for you. Where are we at, guys? Coaches must always come to practice. Is that right?
Sure.
Prepare for pre-practice, pre-planned practice schedule. Your athletes will feed off your organization in preparation. We recommend coaches use their Fury Coach Binder to plan practices. You have a journal in the very back that you can plan practices in. And dry erase board or chalkboard to present practice schedules, goals, encouraging quotes, announcements, etc. Your girls will know when you haven't planned practice. It's not done, end up usually being a good practice, and they goof off the whole time. Coach cell phone use during practice is for emergencies only. Some people use it as a timer. That's fine. The key to this is don't chit chat in the middle of practice on the sidelines to your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Okay. It's happened. That's why it's in here, right?
Watch
Better
it.
not call me
If
one.
your girlfriend calls you while your wife is
Then you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. Coaches are responsible for making sure net systems, equipment, facility are prepared and ready for practices. Your nets will always be set up. All equipment must be stored correctly at the end of practice. 20 balls in a ball cart at the end of practice, and make sure they're in the designated spot in the storage room. We're gonna have a designated spot soon. Don't worry.
We need enough.
Well, we're thinking about like doing some tape lines. This is where the ball carts go.
So kind of before COVID.
Yeah, you need to make sure you have 20 balls. It's really easy to lose volleyballs in this facility. It's huge and they roll all over the place. There's other clubs that have the same volleyballs as us. I mean, we write Tex Fury on it, but we need 20 balls in the ball cart at the end. And just make sure this is like the nicest facility in Texas. So let's take care of it. Let's clean up. Even if it's not our trash, tell your girls at the end of practice, everybody go pick up 5 pieces of trash. Hopefully we're not that dirty. And be respectful. They have amazing staff at this facility. They're so helpful. You need anything, they're right there. What can I do? How can I help you? So be respectful to them and treat them nicely.
Is there
We
any tear down
I
or?
have something to
No,
know.
you don't have to tear down. The only thing is
It's
younger
confidence,
teams, you may have to ask for your net to be lower. We'll tell them in advance, like,
Well, if you're the first there, just to let you know, we have a closet. So if you're the first there, you have to ask them to unlock it. We don't have keys or anything like that. They keep the keys.
yeah,
Which is nice because they'll come down, they'll lock it, and then if you're the last to leave, you need to make sure that we lock it up.
yeah.
So
And they only allow you in our closet if you have a Fury shirt on. So, and you're welcome to come up there if you are doing a private lesson and use our volleyballs. Just again, please count them before and after.
Can you do private lessons with your own girls, or you have to do it with?
No, not during the season.
Right.
Just and that's in here, but it does look like they're paying to play.
Okay.
So it can be a really poor perception for some people. All right, let's see. Coaches, girls aren't allowed to put the volleyballs up. Okay, they can roll them over there. We don't want them in that storage unit because it's not just volleyballs and equipment in there. There's going to be Fury apparel and all kinds of stuff in there. Coaches, with the help of team's chaperone, are responsible for contacting their players regarding any practice schedule changes that occur. All practice cancellations require director approval. If you have a long tournament and you have a bad day on Sunday, you still need to have practice on Monday. Okay? Especially if you have a bad day on Monday with the team. So don't cancel your practices. If something major is going on where you're just like, these girls need a break. Like, we just need a break, because sometimes they do. Just let us know, because we can try to utilize that court in another way, or they can try to fill it to where we get a refund. And that way we don't just show up and be like, where is this team? So just communicate with us. Coaches are not allowed to give private lessons to players on their team during club season. This prevents the perception of pay to play. If a player inquires about private lessons, have them contact another Texas Fury coach or director for recommendations. If a coach holds a positional practice outside, this is important, outside of regularly scheduled practice time, it must be open to all players on your team. A lot of times we say, okay, I need the setters to come in, or hey, so-and-so, I want to work with you for about 10 minutes before practice starts. Just don't bring in one of your setters. You need to bring in anybody who's interested in setting, okay? The same thing with hitters. Don't just isolate one player, because that really looks like favoritism and can hurt people's feelings, get parents upset type of thing. So just make sure that any type of positional stuff that you do, that you open it up to everyone. One Texas Fury coach must stay until every player on your team has been picked up. All Texas Fury teams pray before each practice, player or coach led. Coaches will be provided with a weekly topic to discuss with their teams prior to practice. So we do have a little schedule that we'll follow, and we'll go through that a little bit more later, where we'll have a topic that week that the whole club is discussing, but you are welcome to do what you want to do that week too. So just if it's a short snippet about what we're doing, that's fine. We'll have a verse that goes along with it. But I know there's coaches that already do things with their team and do it every season, and they talk about certain topics. So you're still welcome to include whatever it is that you want to talk about with them too. We just want all the girls. It's just a unity thing for our club, that we're all learning about the same thing at the same time. All right, where are we at? Page 3. Practices. This is the player club policies. We go through all of these policies with the players also and parents, so they have all these same policies. It's mandatory for every player to arrive 10 minutes early. Players must arrive with full volleyball attire on. Obviously, they won't have their shoes on, but they need to be ready to go. And when they get there, they need to put their shoes on and be ready to go. Okay? We don't want them showing up and having to change and dilly-dallying around. Consequence for late player is up to the discretion of the coach, but there will be a consequence. Don't let it slide. Don't let players show up 10 minutes late and just act like it didn't happen, or say, okay, it's okay this time. Have in place before your first team meeting, this is what happens when a player on my team misses practice. Okay? In the event that a player is perpetually late, there will be a player-coach meeting arranged. If the issue continues, there will be a meeting with the director. During practice and pre-practice meetings, all cell phones must be put away. Guys, don't just let me say this. You need to follow this. Don't let your girls talk on their phone and text and be doing all this social media stuff during volleyball practice time. This is a rule that we feel is very important in our club. And the only way that is if you guys follow it for it to actually happen. So they are constantly bombarded by media and all that stuff. They can take 2 hours and 15 minutes of their life and turn their phones off and focus on their real life relationships. Okay? Players must wear practice shirts to every practice. We want the girls wearing blue on the first day and gray on the second day. Again, follow this. We like the idea of the unity, walking in the gym and seeing 7 full courts of Fury girls all in blue. Okay. Consequences at the discretion of the coach, but there will be a consequence for not wearing the correct practice shirt. For all player absences, including illness and school events, players will make up the missed practice time by attending another team's practice before the next tournament. Makeup practice times and days will be determined by the coach, the player, and the other team's availability. Makeup practices must be confirmed with your coach. For each missed practice that is not made up for the next tournament, the player is required to sit out one set of a match. We don't want our girls sitting out at tournaments because it's just not a good idea to consequence them that way, to punish them that way. So what we do is if they miss a practice, then they've got to go to another team's practice and make up that time. Whether it's observing the practice, jumping in and shagging balls, jumping in and running drills with them, whatever they feel comfortable with. The 11s going to the 16s, it's a really cool opportunity for them. This actually ends up being a really great experience for all the girls in general. So again, this isn't optional, they have to do it. So you need to make sure that your players are making up their practices, and you've got to confirm with the other coach also. So if Dawn wants to send one of her girls to my practice, she needs to say, hey, what day is good for you next week? I've got a girl that wants to come, she'd really like to come on Thursday, and is that okay? And then you've got to get confirmation from the coach. Don't take on more than 2 extra players in your practice, okay? There are coaches in the club that a lot of kids will be like, oh, I want to go to Coach Stevens' practice, I can't, and so you'll have like 5 kids that want to go to your practice. And don't do that. Just say, hey, no, I've already got 2 kids coming, I can't take on any more, okay?
So, Christina, what if they miss and there's only one opportunity for them to make it up before the tournament, or no opportunities before the tournament?
I mean, I have, again, use your best judgment. I have, if my player missed right before a tournament, I said, if you make it up next week, it's your first opportunity, let's get it scheduled, then you can play this weekend. So, I mean, you know the players that are just skipping and the players that had to miss because they were sick or whatever it may be. So, you use your discretion on that. Just make sure that they're making it up. The other thing is if they only miss an hour, if they're late, then they only have to make up an hour. They don't have to go to the full 2-hour practice. Anything else on that?
What if they like are consistently missing? Like you said, we know. Are we still like gonna let them make up the practices, or like is there gonna be another?
I can tell you that this right here makes them not want to miss practice.
Okay.
Because we haven't had that issue, and this has really helped with that because they know that if they don't come to practice, they're eventually going to have to make this up, you know? So, but if you do have a player that's just not showing up, just contact us, let us know, and if you've already met with them and you feel like nothing's,
Okay.
then let us know and we'll help you.
Their parents are making them. They're paying.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They're paying a lot of money.
They're coming.
Good questions, though. All right, tournament policies. Players and coaches must arrive at tournaments at least 45 minutes early. Follow this. Don't arrive 15 minutes beforehand. Your players need to be there 45 minutes, and you need to be there 45 minutes early. Every team must have a pre-planned warm-up before each match. Does everybody know what that is? To warm up for a match. Yes? Okay. If you are unsure about how to go about doing that, we have a warm-up that you can follow. So, they need to have a warm-up that they do every single tournament before their matches. Transportation to and from, sorry, I'm going to say this too. It's really good to do your practice warm-up be the same as your tournament warm-up because it's just consistency. It just gets them in the mindset of, I'm about to play volleyball and this is what I always do. Okay. Every team must have I already said that. Transportation to and from tournaments for the players will be the responsibility of parents. If coaches ride in a vehicle with a parent or player, there must be more than one person with you at all times. This is to protect you and it avoids the perception of favoritism and inappropriate relationships. You can have 2 players in the car with you. You just can't have one. Okay, so if you're helping with carpooling, we're totally okay with that, as long as there's more than one player in the car with you.
Does it, like, what if I ride with my parent? Is that okay?
As
If my
long
sister plays on.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Like to and from the convention center, that's okay. Like if we were
She
at,
plays on the
hotel.
13th team.
Yeah, you just
I think
don't
I'll be
ever,
okay.
you can't be alone.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's just always got to be there's got to be 3 people in the car. Let's see, advise your team and team chaperone on tournament details, arrival time, and playing sites immediately after you receive the information. Your parents are going to be sitting on the edge of their seat, emailing you, calling you, begging you for the information. So as soon as you get it from us, or if there's a lot of coaches that get it before we do, because they're sitting there watching the website. So as soon as you have that information, where you're playing, your time, get it out there to those parents, because they are ready for that information. And they'll get mad if you wait. Where are we at? When you arrive at your playing site, have your players pick out a spot and line up their bags in a neat, orderly fashion. This gives a good representation of Texas Fury and adds security. All players' cell phones must be put away for the entire duration of the tournament unless the player receives permission from the coach for family phone calls. This includes listening to music on your cell phone. This promotes team bonding. Players can come up and say, can I call my mom to tell her that we just won? Yes, of course she can do that. We know what we're trying to avoid, right? By putting cell phones away. So that's the key element. Bring card games. It's really, really sweet to watch your girls laughing their heads off in a circle playing a fun card game, and you see the team they're about to play all on their cell phones, not speaking to each other. It makes a huge difference in your team dynamic. So, let's see. While at tournaments or events, athletes must stay together as a team. Players are not permitted to leave the tournament site until coaches dismiss them. Have your athletes inform you of their location if they are away from the team. Keep the girls together. Don't let them go off in pairs. Well, they can if they are going to the bathroom and stuff, but just don't let them separate themselves. If I've got some girls over here playing a game and 2 girls over here watching, another game, I'm going to go over and say, hey, I want whether y'all go watch the game with them or you go play the card game, I want us to all be together, okay? Because we just don't want to encourage them to start forming cliques and things like that. require your players to have all uniform items with them at every tournament. They need to have all their jerseys in their backpack because somebody may forget their jersey, somebody may spill grape juice down the front of their jersey, a referee may say, I don't like the color of your jersey, take it off, because they're weird like that. So all of our jerseys should be completely legal this year though. We don't have any gray jerseys. So anyway, just make sure that you tell the girls, just bring all your jerseys, put them all in your backpack, okay? Always be prepared to play a match or perform officiating duties. Players must equally share officiating responsibilities. Make sure that you don't have the same girls doing the same stuff over and over. They need to be sharing all of the linesmen responsibilities, scorekeeping, all of that. Nobody gets out of that. Teams must be in matching apparel all times. Texas Fury apparel only, no pajamas, non-Fury sweatshirts, etc. We want our girls looking sharp. We're professional. We want to look that way. So when you warm up, if they want to wear their jackets, all of them need to have their jackets on. If they want to wear pants, they need to all have their pants on. They need to be in unison, matching when we are at tournaments. Okay. Tournaments are our opportunity to represent Texas Fury to the public. Please maintain and enforce Texas Fury's standard of respectful behavior and good sportsmanship. Texas Fury teams pray before each match at tournaments. That's before every single match, not just at the beginning of the day. Player or coach led. After the match, win or lose, this is a really easy one to forget. Good or bad officiating, have your team captain shake the up ref's hand and just say thank you. It's a hard job. I don't know how many of you have been up there on the up ref stand, but it is a very hard job. And not all of them are good at it, but we're still going to be respectful to them. And as of now, we have a really good rep with the referees, and it helps your club. So, it's true. Make sure that sometimes when it's been a hard loss or something, it's easy to forget, but just give that responsibility to your team captain so that it's something that they just automatically do and know that they're supposed to do at the end of the game. Let's see. After each match, have your team clean up both benches. If any parent or player conflict arises at a tournament, all parties, coaches, players, and parents must wait 48 hours before discussing the issue. Please inform a director of all major problems or issues. If a parent comes up and is really upset, you need to tell them it is a club policy that I do not talk to you for 48 hours. I don't have a choice, so don't do it because it's not going to go well most of the time. Emotions are really, really high at that point. So just completely put it back on the club and say, I am not allowed to talk to you right now. So I'll talk to you in 48 hours. Okay?
And when we talk to them, it doesn't have to be a meeting with you guys too.
No.
It's just,
You can totally handle all of that on your own. If somebody comes up and is like cussing you out, let us know that that's happening because we need to know, that parent is behaving like that. Or if it's something that you think that they're going to blast us with an email of some kind, just let us know. Okay? But please don't tell us every time you have a parent meeting. We don't want to know that. No. Okay. Officiating. Lone Star Region requires all junior coaches to be impact certified and complete a USAV official referee training. Texas Fury will pay for these courses and provide you with all the dates, times, and locations of the trainings. Coaches will be required to down ref and possibly up ref at tournaments. So if you've never coached club before, you've got to get impact certified. Is anybody not?
It lasts, right?
It's
If we did
lifetime,
it,
yeah.
I don't have to do it again.
Nope.
I know the referee, every couple of years, I
Yes.
have to regrade or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think I did.
Okay.
Yeah. If you,
I don't think I did.
yeah, but we've, yeah, you already know about
Be
it.
on the website.
The impact. Yeah, I don't think they've released the dates yet though. So, the referee training, you have to, if you got referee certified last season, but you didn't get rated by an official referee, then you have to redo your referee
And it's
training.
through USAV, right?
It is. So, like Nicole and I have to go to one. We're going to that first one, I think, October.
It's not because you can get
Sunday?
2 days, so
Because you pay them.
I think November.
November 8th was
The good
November
thing
8th.
about this first one
It's
is
at Round
you
Rock
get
Sports
rated at it. So
The
it'll
second
last
one you don't?
I think it's only a 4-hour. You go and you get certified, but they don't rate you.
Tournament, like at the first tournament or what?
You
Yeah,
That's how we did it when I did it before.
You
Usually
just
at
ask the
tournaments,
tournament director.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, do y'all have a rater here? We usually have raters at all of the Fury tournaments. So, and there we put in y'all's the last tab in the resources, a rating sheet. So you can just hand it to him at your tournament and say, hey, will you come rate me? And it's done. Okay.
Is anybody going this Sunday? Just out of curiosity.
I'm gonna try. I have already something scheduled. If I'm able to reschedule it, I'm gonna go. So it's 50-50 race.
Yeah.
Because I like to get things over with, but I already.
Yeah.
Do you pay for that and then just let you know, or?
No, we'll either mail a check into them if we're not going to be there, or if you come to this first one, we'll write it. But if we happen, or we can send, if there's somebody there, we can send a check with you, a blank one, and y'all can write it for however many people are there. We trust y'all so much. My husband's playing with fire. So, the impact certification though, you cannot be put on a roster or coach at all until you're impact certified. The region won't let you. We have nothing to do with that. So, you gotta get that done ASAP.
How do you check if you already are?
Send an email to Nicole and she can tell you how to do it. You just go to the region website and I think you click under referees and then you do
the
something
referee
else.
is the referee roster and it has details of where you see them.
Oh, okay. It is on that LS, the same place you registered with the region. It's on. You can find it on there. Okay.
So you have to register for that class on Sunday?
You don't. You just show up.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. You just show up to it. Okay. Lone Star Region provides impact referee scorekeeping. Did we already just talk about all this? Okay, once the season begins, there's not very many available training dates. The Lone Star region does not allow coaches to coach, blah, blah, blah. Each team must have at least 2 players trained as scorekeepers. Coaches are responsible for identifying and seeing that those designated players attend the scorekeeper training. Texas Fury pays for 2 designated players to attend the scorekeeping clinic. Any additional players that choose to attend a scorekeeping clinic will be responsible for the training cost of $25. It's on your meeting agenda that we've created for you. It's behind the current meeting agenda. We'll go through it later, but you'll during your time that you have with your players at your first team meeting, you're going to ask them, is there 2 people that would like to go to this scorekeeping clinic, and we will pay for them to go. If you don't have anybody that wants to volunteer, you can draw straws, you can rock, paper, scissors, be creative, okay?
To redo that. What if we have people that have already done it? Do they have to redo it, or don't they
The
have to?
only way that, and they're gonna ask you this, well, I did a scorekeeping clinic last season. They had to have mailed in or
Okay, yeah,
emailed
right,
in
the pictures.
2 score sheets
Yes.
to still be certified
Okay.
for 2 years, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Because y'all are gonna get asked that. Okay, players act as linesmen and scorekeepers for all tournaments. Please make sure your team knows the expectations during their officiating duties. No cell phones, eating, talking, listening to headphones, daydreaming, etc. while officiating and or scorekeeping. There will be no more than 3 players at the scorekeeping table to minimize distractions. Don't let girls sit behind other girls while they're doing scorekeeping, because then we get parents screaming that the score's wrong, okay? Okay, all teams will officiate to the very best of their ability and be good representative of Texas Fury. Coaches will maintain a high standard for their teams officiating. Okay. Texas Fury will maintain and represent high standards of good sportsmanship. Am I on the right page? Okay. All coaches are to respect all officials and tournament staff. If you have any disrespectful parents on the sidelines of tournaments, address the situation immediately. If you are unable or not comfortable, immediately call one of the directors to handle it. Okay? If you don't feel comfortable walking up to a parent and saying, you are being obnoxious on the sidelines, because that's not okay for our parents to act like that and to be screaming at referees or coaches or kids. It's not okay. So if you don't feel comfortable with it, call Nicole or I, and we will come immediately to your court and help you with that. Okay. Travel guidelines. Texas Fury will pay for and book hotel rooms for all coaches during out-of-town tournaments. If coach